Do you really need a campfire? Of course you do. Do you need that fire in a 316 stainless steel folding fire pit? That's what we're going to debate. So, you may have seen these things are all the rage at the moment. Everyone seems to be using one. Maybe you're thinking about getting one for yourself. So this is the perfect video for you because it's not a review. We're not going to tell you how awesome this fire pit is. We're not going to tell you it's shit either. We're just going to tell you a collection of reasons why you might want one, why you might not. Before we get too much into it, I want to tell you about the fire pit that we're using here tonight. So this is the Red Roads Blazing Barbecue Grill package. The grill's just over behind us. We cooked our dinner on that tonight. This is a West Aussie owned brand and they're sold at Go Camping and Overlanding in Balcatta. 316 stainless steel grill, all folds down into a nice little canvas bag. Alright Andrew, it's your first time using one. What's your favourite thing first up?
Well, it's got to be the fact that I cooked on it this evening.
Yep.
Your fires are basically for two things, one to heat, two to cook, and it's pelting out a fair bit of heat at the moment.
It really is.
And it's already sorted out and set up for grilling, and that was really, really convenient. So
Yep.
You just grab the grill, you put it over the top, and then you just start grilling. We grilled some capsicum, and
Yep.
then we cooked on a pan tonight. So
Yeah.
both worked really, really well. You seem to be able to control the heat quite nicely with being able to raise and lower the grill quite easy. So it's just set up for that aspect of a campfire.
Yeah, it's very controllable as opposed to like if I'm cooking on a campfire, I tend to be poking the frying pan in there and maybe you've got that perfect balance on a log.
Yep.
But then the log burns and everything moves around.
And you're constantly moving things around, trying to make sure that you've got the right right amount of coals underneath. This is all just set up, ready to go.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I've decided that one of my favourite aspects about this is actually you use less wood. And this isn't a scientific thing that it uses less wood, but I find I could bring a little bag about this big and we've got enough heat here for the two of us. Even 3 or 4 people, you huddle in nice and close. Have a couple of logs burning like that. It's got good airflow. And if you're not collecting a massive metric butt ton of wood from the surrounding forests, you're doing less destruction to habitat.
And we seem to only have 3, maybe 4 logs on there at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see how it would cut down the amount of wood you use.
Yeah, I reckon we've used no more than 6, maybe 8 at the most.
Yeah.
Little logs about that big in the last 3 or 4 hours.
Yep, and it's keeping us warm and easy to cook on.
There you go. Number 2, helps you control the size of your fire and use less wood. Okay, Andrew, your turn. What else are you liking about the fire pit?
Well, the fact that it's attached to the base plate, and so therefore the whole thing is held together. You can move it around quite easily, and I think it really helps as maybe your group gets bigger, and instead of shuffling people around, you can move the fire around.
Yeah.
You can put it under an awning if it starts to rain.
Yeah.
Just as your camp just changes, you're able to shift and move your campfire. If it was on the ground, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yeah, so like if your face is cold, I bet your face is cold right now.
It is, actually.
There you go.
Perfect.
Look at that. It's actually quite pleasant.
It is actually, my knees are feeling less melty.
You could do like, what's that Korean barbecue where they have a little fire going in the middle of the table and you sit around the table?
You could.
Okay, my next point may be considered like a little bit environmentalist almost. If you look really closely in like etiquette things and leave no trace principles and that, they talk about fire scars and those unsightly fire scars that get left everywhere and holes burned in pristine grass. You don't have to worry about that. Use one of these.
No.
You don't leave a big fire scar in the ground.
And of course, if you consider camp etiquette, if you go to a campsite and there's already a campfire or evidence of a campfire there, then the etiquette is that that's where you have your campfire. And if you don't want to have your campfire there, get a fire pit like this and you can basically choose wherever you have your fire because it's not going to leave a mark. You might want to have it up against a river or under a tree or something like that. yeah, it gives you a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
A lot more convenient again.
Yeah. And then in the morning, just, once you're done with your fire, you just pick this thing up full of ash and you go and dump it on that other fire pit over there.
Yep, absolutely.
No harm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew and I have decided we're going to get the elephants out of the room straight away.
Yep.
Yeah, that is, it costs you nothing to have a fire on the ground.
Correct.
It costs you about $300 to have one of these.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's an extra $300 for your fire.
But you get all the convenience of all the fours that we've just talked about.
That was a big list. It was a big list of pros. Number 2, the weight. Everyone's concerned about weight.
Yep.
Maybe not big 79 series cruiser owners, they don't seem to care too much, but I'm always thinking about weight, and this is around 12 kilos, this thing. So, when it all adds up, that 12 kilos is a big chunk of weight that could be considered in some cases unnecessary. And if I am going on a longer trip or I have a lot of mates in the car, I won't take that, along with a few other little luxuries that I don't drag along.
Yep.
Just to try and save that little bit of extra weight.
Yep, no, weight's important. Another against is the fact that this one here this comes in 2 versions. This is the large of the 2 versions. You can see how big it is. And you've still got to cut your wood into a size that fits into that area.
Yeah.
So with a bigger fire that you can have on the ground, you can kind of drag a log in and kind of burn it bit by bit.
Yeah.
That's not an option with the pit because
it just doesn't work.
It's risen up above the ground there, so you couldn't lie a log across the top. It just wouldn't work. So you have to make sure that you cut all your wood to size.
Yeah, so you've got to be very keen on the axe to cut your wood to size, or bring your chainsaw and cut it up into little pieces.
So another against related to size is the number of people that this would kind of suit. If you've got many more than what?
I've had 3. I'm pretty happy with 3.
Yep.
4 is as much as I'd go.
Yep.
I think.
Even for this size. So if you had a larger group, you'd looking at maybe two of these pits. You could run 2 of the pits at the same time. Other than that, people are going to start getting cold.
That's it. Oh, if you got really excited and you wanted to buy 4 fire pits, you could sit all your mates in the middle, and then you could have the fires around the outside of you as well. You could have, you'd alleviate that problem forever where you're cold on the back but you're warm on the front. Okay, the last con that we could possibly come up with is the lack of coals for cooking with your camp oven, because it's that big. It's about that big by that big. And you've maybe got 2 good shovelfuls of coals, if you can get it really raging and full of coals, to be able to do your camp oven meal with.
Yeah.
And if you've ever cooked with camp ovens and coals before, you'll be going forever trying to stoke that back up and get your bed of coals, and that last lot of coals will probably have cooled down.
Yeah. That's the thing, when you're cooking with an oven, you've got to recycle, or you've got to cycle through those coals. So you're always going to be trying to get coals out of this thing.
Yeah, so if you're trying to do camp oven cooking, if you're really enthusiastic about it, I don't think the fire pit's going to be your best option. The interesting thing that we've both noted is every piece of wood that we've burned, all 6 to 8, as I said before, has broken down into almost nothing. There's a little tiny bed of coals in the bottom there.
Yep.
Unless you're Taylor, something's wrong with that boy. Every time I've seen Taylor light up his fire pit, it's like 3 twigs on the top and this huge bed of coals. And it's like, get more flame in there, it's freezing. I don't seem to have that problem.
You can see at the bottom, we haven't cleaned the bottom of it. It's been going for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's barely any ash at the bottom of it. So it just shows you how efficient it burns.
It seems to be a very
remarkable.
clean and efficient burn.